Yeah, Dinor damn near snuggled me right off the bed last night.
Oh yeah.
He was snuggled up next to me, and then I rolled over
Uh-huh.
to get comfortable, and he slipped off of his pillow and in between the pillow in the middle of the bed and me, and I had literally like that much bed on this side, on the
Yeah.
front side of me, and
He's done that to me too.
I was like, bro, you gotta make a little bit of room for me.
Not that big.
I mean, we got a big old bed too. You always gotta sleep like an H. Take up as much space as you can. Long dog it.
Not Cricket though. Cricket likes being in a tiny
Yeah,
bubble.
he loafs. He finds a spot and he loafs up in it. Then once he's really comfy, it doesn't matter what you do really. Squoosh, smoosh.
Yep.
You don't care. Dinor though.
If you touch him, he's like,
Yeah. Or if you insinuate that he has to move, like I did last night, when I noticed I had a fucking literal inch of bed, I was like, oh, Dinor, and he goes, "Mrr," and moves. It's like, fuck you. If you were falling off the bed, you'd want me to move too. But that doesn't happen to you. That would never happen to you because you always get the choice part of the bed. Man, that is so funny how pet owners just like subvert their own comfort to their pets.
yeah.
We buy a big, giant, nice bed, and like 3/4 of it is dog.
Yeah. Use separate blankets.
Yeah. We use separate blankets because the dog likes to sleep on the middle of the blanket, so neither one of us gets blanket. So we each have our own blanket, so Dinor can't steal our blankets from us at night. Which he will do.
Yeah, there were so many times we tried, and it's like we were each like half covered.
Yeah. Just can't work. And he won't get under the covers. Maybe one out of 10 times you try and get him to like get a tuck, he'll do it. But then he wakes up in the middle of the night and steals your blanket off of you anyway. Yeah, we gravitated towards dogs because they're so fucking loyal. They're so filled with personality and they're so fucking loyal. They've got the loyalty game down.
It's not like you can get a deer to follow you around.
No, probably not. Maybe if you domesticated them over centuries. But something tells me like you could spend the same amount of time selectively breeding some other animals and not get the results you got with dogs.
You know what's weird is like they tried domesticating like more wild dogs, and they noticed that the more they domesticated them, they started getting like that kind of piebald thing where they'd have patches of white and black.
Yeah.
They try to get cuter.
Yep. They start to cute up. It just blows my mind that we took like timber wolves and turned them into teacup chihuahuas.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane to me.
And we made things even bigger than wolves.
True. It went the other way too. We made these giant fucking Great Danes and Mastiffs. What was that one that we had? That dude that was...
Yeah, I think it was a full Mastiff.
Was he a Mastiff?
I think so.
I wonder how that dude's doing now.
Yeah. Puppy. It was cute that his paws were like way too big for him.
Dude, his paws were like dinner plates, bro. He was about Dinor sized, which is already kind of alarming because he was a puppy. But he had paws like that. Just like big. You could just tell. Remember we asked him what kind of dog it was, and I think it was a bull mastiff. It's just like, you live in a fucking apartment complex and you're about to have a mastiff?
He was a super sleepy puppy too. He'd take like 3 steps and then just plop.
Yeah. It's just big and awkward. It's like, I'm 3 times the size I should be. Well. Oh my god, dude, it's like having a full grown adult
Hmm.
that you have to take care of, and including like the cost of it.
Hmm.
Like they eat fucking 10 pounds of food a week or some shit. It's
And you
like
want like good food for them because they're so big. You want to make sure they have enough stuff for strong bones and shit.
because they already have low lifespans due to their size, and so it's like you want to you make sure you take good care of them. They have good food to eat and shit. So you're like feeding a whole ass human.
Hmm. Probably almost more expensive. It's not like you
Probably.
can give it ramen.
Yeah, true. It's not like you can like have a salad or something. You got to give it meat and fucking good food. My aunt flew planes in Alaska. She got a timber wolf pup named Kinnick. She got all of the licenses for it, but as it grew up, my mom would drop me off there to play, and I would chill with this huge wolf. That's neat and a little dangerous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure Kinnick was a good boy, but Kinnick was also a wild animal, and he could, you know, misinterpret something you do or get a little fucking prey drive going, and just that's it.
Yeah. I think like a lot of states have like it has to be like this percentage of wolf or less if you're gonna have like hybrids.
Yeah, it's like I think in California it's 30% wolf, no more than 30% wolf or 25% wolf.
Yeah.
I think down south, like in Louisiana, I think you can have something up to 50% wolf. It just depends on where you are, but there's a reason why there are laws against it. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. I mean, it's really cool. That's a cool memory to have. Like your grandma had a wolf and shit, and you got to play with it and stuff. But man, yeah, that could have gone real bad. We just did a whole episode on that. Well, not necessarily just on that, but on like people that get these exotic pets and they turn on them and shit because they forget like it's a wild animal. There was some dude in fucking Australia that had a hippo,
Hmm.
and he was well known as a weirdo locally that had this pet hippo, and he'd ride it around and fucking go swimming with it. And one day it just dragged him into the fucking water and drowned his ass. It just fucking snatched him, dragged him into the fucking water, and drowned him. After fucking like 10 years of being his pet or 15 years of being his loyal friend or whatever, he was just like, yep, today's the day, motherfucker. Dragged him into the water.
I know, like those are more deadly than lions in Africa.
The hippo is pound for pound the most deadly animal on the planet, as far as I understand. Well, like large animal on the planet. Way more than elephants, way more than lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. More people are killed by fucking hippos.
They probably have,
Mosquitoes are the deadliest animal on the planet if
yeah,
you take into account the viruses and shit that they spread.
yeah. But they probably have like less like fear of humans. Like they're willing to get closer. Like bears and shit, they don't want to approach you.
Bears are incredibly solitary
Yeah.
animals. They do not want to have anybody around them. And they will typically move on
Hmm.
rather than confront a group of people or a person.
Hmm.
That being said, the right kind of situation, and the bear is going to see it as easier to just eliminate the threat
Hmm.
and maybe get a meal out of it, and then you're fucked. a hippo, a hippo is just completely different. A hippo, oftentimes, I think hippos probably kill accidentally.
Yeah.
They're just huge, strong. They have no regard for the safety of other animals, and if you're on the water with them, they'll pull you right out of the fucking boat and drown you.
Hmm.
They see you as like fucking around with their breeding grounds or something, especially bull hippos or mother hippos. You're fucked.
Well, yeah, because they have to defend their watering hole
They have to
all the
defend their
time.
whole fucking shit. Yeah, bears just rip you apart. They don't have that like killer instinct like cats do to go for like vital areas and lock in.
Hmm.
Bears will just grab your arm and rip it off, eat your fingers off, eat your face off while you're still alive and shit. They don't. They're vicious. That grizzly man guy, I still haven't been able to watch that documentary because I heard like 10 seconds of him being killed by the grizzlies that he was living with, and I couldn't fucking hang. They literally tore him to pieces before he died. And these were bears that he thought he had gained the trust of. They allowed him to like come near them and pet them and fucking sit with them while they were chilling and follow them. And then one day they just got fucking tired. Who knows what it was? But one day they just were like, okay, we don't want this around anymore. And they literally fucking tore him to shreds. I don't know if they ever even found any bodily remains of him. I think they found his like camera equipment and shit, obviously, because they got the footage of him being eaten. But as far as like his body, I don't think there was hardly anything left of him. It just goes to show you, man, like that little uh, incident that I had with Iggy, where like I had this iguana forever, and you know he would take snaps and try and bite other people, but he never tried me.
Until he did.
Until he did. Until one day I was feeding that motherfucker, my foot looked better than the fucking leafy greens I was feeding him, and he went in and took a fucking chunk right out of the bottom of my foot. It was like a razor blade. It didn't even hurt at first. Like it hurt like like a sting. And then he backed off. And I looked down at my foot and there was a hole in it with blood just gushing all over the floor. I was like, what the fuck? And then it hurt. That's how quick it was. Just like snap. Them little teeth, like little razors, just took a chunk out of me. Or if it's like a buzz for some folks, like you sleep with hippos and bears, they understand me, I understand them. Yeah, the danger communion rush, maybe. Yeah, there are definitely people that are addicted to that like fucking kind of low level adrenaline where they want to have that kind of like wariness all the time. Chimps are the most vicious in how they kill. True. Chimps are fucking insane. I still remember watching. There's like an hour-long documentary about the chimp wars that happened in Africa. There's this like scientific station in the Congo where they were observing this troop of chimps, and they learned a ton about chimp society from observing this troop, including the fact that chimps go to war with one another. They had all these individuals in the fucking group that they had named that had different personalities, different functions within the group, and then that group of chimps went to war with some other fucking group of chimps. Yeah, they keep the traditional war format for the wiki page and everything because it was like that. It was literally like scientists were baffled by the basic level of fucking tactics and warfare. Like this idea that we invented warfare, like human beings or our most recent ancestors invented warfare, is just completely undermined. These chimps had strategy. They would do flanking maneuvers and fucking surprise attacks. They would lure the other chimps into an attack by presenting smaller numbers and then have other chimps come in. It was fucking crazy. It was just insane. Nature is incredibly metal.
Remember that one documentary we watched too? Like just how vicious, like I think it was like mountain lions, like trying to fuck. They like almost killed the female just trying to fuck her.
That wasn't the mountain lions. That was those fucking like
Oh yeah, the snow leopards.
snow leopards. Yeah, like there's two individuals maybe within a 50-mile radius, and they yowl at the top of mountains and shit to echolocate each other. And then when they fucking find each other, it's a fight. It's like the female fights the male fucking bites the back of her and wounds her and shit to fuck her, and then leaves her for half dead and goes on about his business. And if she lives, she has a kitten.
And she has to protect that kitten
Right.
from him.
Right. And then because once she has the kitten, that's like food for him in the hunting area. So she's got to fucking battle him again, possibly. It's like fucking like, what? How did this species survive? It's trying to kill itself. That would be like if human beings, like, the man couldn't be present when the female gave birth because we would just grab the baby and like throw it across the fucking room or some shit. They're literally like the snow leopards that they're literally the only animal like that in their biome. They're like the apex predator of their area, and it's such a fucking sparsely populated area that I guess that's probably how they fucking survived. There wasn't some other creature that was better at rearing its young to push it off the pedestal, so it gets to go on, I guess. Because if there was some other predator there that was competing for food and shit, and like I said, was better at like rearing its young to adulthood and having sex without almost murdering or possibly murdering the female, then that snow leopards probably wouldn't exist. Dude, when we talk about this shit, animals and their behavior, I get this like real sense of awe at the amount of time that has gone by to individuate these species from one another. Like, think about that. Like, snow leopards exist because some ancestor of the snow leopard, probably a jungle cat, had to go further and further north due to climate change or like fires or some other fucking animal moving into its hunting grounds, right? And then over the course of fucking like hundreds of generations, slowly but surely adapt, like the little mutations where they had thicker fur on their paws, maybe. Those leopards did better in that tundra environment. And so just the amount of time and kind of like the blind process of evolution by natural selection is just so mind-blowing to me. It's so fucking utterly interesting how creatures can accidentally adapt. Not accidentally. How creatures can, I don't even know how to what the terminology I would want to put. Incidentally adapt to their fucking environments and change utterly the way that they're made. A jungle cat lives in the fucking snowy mountains now. Why? Because it had to. Because slowly but surely, that jungle cat got pushed out of its environment and had to develop a fucking way to function in this other environment that it wasn't entirely adapted for. And over the course of millions of years, they're naturally selected to the thicker fur, the bigger paws, the smaller cats. The ones that can fucking survive in the snow. And as a function of that, to show you that evolution is not a guided process, some of the other things that happened in their evolutionary selection are contrary to their survival. But because they're the only fucking predator that operates in those areas that are anywhere like it, it didn't matter. So like the fucking female snow leopard almost dying or possibly dying every time she fucks, right? The male snow leopard actively hunting the female and the cub after it's born That shit is not, that's not like conducive to the survival of a species. But there it is. Do they hunt them to eat them? Yes.
And like they see it infringing on their territory, like, oh, this is a new individual.
The food in okay, so the way I remember it explained was the territory of a single male snow leopard is so large and they range so far because the food, the prey animals in the tundra areas that they live, in the mountainous fucking areas that they live, so scarce that they fucking have an instinct to viciously defend their territory and to fucking basically be omnivorous with anything that comes within that territory, and that includes a kitten. So it's a dual fucking instinct. Number one, that kitten could grow up and fucking push me off my land. Hell no, it isn't. Number two, that kitten's fucking food. That could feed me for a week. Never mind that it's my son or daughter. Whatever. Shit like it just blows my mind. Like evolution in general, the process that it took, what we know about it, looking at the kind of earlier forms of animals and what they became, how human intervention has changed certain animals into something completely different, certain plants as well. Go look at what a real banana looks like. Look at a pre-genetic engineering banana. That was one of my favorite comebacks to the Ray Comfort banana is the atheist nightmare thing. Was that bananas aren't actually that way.
Okay, time.
You findy. Dad's just taking care of some flies.
Mm-hmm. I'm probably getting a little hot out here, huh?
Probably is. You got a hot. Where'd you land, big boy? There's one more. There's one more that wants a piece. Go on and land over on the fucking thing somewhere. Oh, you got one, Squid Diddly? Did you get the Black Fly edition? Look at that. Look at that detailing. The flies. The corpses of 1 billion flies. Anyway. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about evolution. Kind of. I like being a layman when it comes to evolution because I still have a sense of wonder about it. I like kind of having my mind blown by things a little bit. I like not fully understanding and math process. I like that there are people out there that do that, so we know the truth. But me, I like to exist in my little bubble of childlike wonder. Like, holy fuck. How did that happen? I like to like bake my noodle. Just let it fucking like let the gears grind in there, you know? Yeah, fine motor skills and like the story of humanity is probably the most interesting of all, right? Like in terms of selective pressure and shit, because look at what we developed as a result. I mean, the fact that I'm sitting here for hours and hours and hours just vocalizing at you and conveying so much information, not just the information that I'm talking about, but personal information about myself. 90% of communication is nonverbal. So all my fucking mannerisms, the way that I speak, the facial, kind of like tics that I have, all the different things that I do, like all of that is part of how we communicate. And all of that developed as a result of selective pressure. Crazy. Right. We were an animal that, developed into something very intelligent, but very soft in comparison to other animals.
Mm-hmm.
Like you put a human being against a cave bear back in the day. Human being is fucked. Naked ass human being in the woods versus a cave bear. You get 2 or 3 human beings with long pointy sticks. Now you got something. But look at the fucking absolute wonder that had to happen in order to get to that point. For human beings to get to a point where they could communicate with one another, strategize with one another, create tools, come up with ways to overcome things in nature that they couldn't alone.
We have so many fucking problems. It's ridiculous.
We were talking about them the other day. Our backs are all fucked up. It's like a broken column.
Mm-hmm.
I love that painting that Frida Kahlo did.
Oh yeah.
Of her standing there with her arms taped over her heads, and you can see through her body, and there's like a Roman column in there that's broken. So we have a back that is not, like, we stand upright, but we never fully developed out of being an animal that's down like this. And so our back is kind of like in between, and it goes out and has a lot of fucking ridiculous fucking pressure on it. Are we getting a delivery?
Or he's just trying to turn around.
No, we're getting a delivery.
Yeah.
Howdy, sir.
Good.
Good music.
Thank you.
Thanks, boss.
Yeah, have a good day.
You too. I think that's our fly trap.
Maybe.
He's bumping that Slim Shady. That old Slim Shady. On that FedEx grind. Dude, I'm cordial to strangers. Dude, I have a way, dude. I disarm people when I meet them. That dude probably doesn't get a kind comment one time. And he liked it. I made him smile. I heard his Slim Shady and I told him good music. And he went from looking all serious and shit to cracking a smile. Boom. Little moment. Made a little moment in his day. Set him on a different fucking wavelength. Maybe just slightly.
Yeah. You're never mean to anyone.
Hell no. Hell to the fuck no. I'll tell you when I get mean. Is when somebody like is arguing philosophy or some shit with me, or politics, and it gets heated between me and that person. Then I can get mean. I can be mean and dismissive as an act of retaliation towards people who I think are being rude in my chat. But I'm not a fucking mean guy. I'm not the type of dude that, even like yesterday, we went out to eat, right? Place was busy as fuck, understaffed. They had a big hiring sign on the thing. There was basically one main server that was doing everything, and then there was a bunch of people helping her, but they were way understaffed. She even told us. She was like, I'm really the only person out here, so sorry if things are a little slow. We were like, it's cool. Amelia ordered a fucking margarita. They brought us her water and my soda, and then they just forgot her margarita, right? And so I pulled a lady aside, and I was like, hey, she got a margarita, and she had to reorder her whole margarita. The lady goes, okay, I'll go get it. Didn't come. I had to pull another person aside. That person finally went and made her margarita. If I was a different kind of person, I would have caused a big old fucking stink in the restaurant. There are people that will. Like, if they're not attended to exactly, they have no understanding of work. See, I think that that's one of the greatest things that happened to me was working in the service industry for so long in different ways. Because if you think about it, I went from service industry to service industry. Even though my job changed immensely when I went from Starbucks, my longest job that I ever had, to my second longest job I ever had, which was doing the fucking tech support shit at the schools, service industry jobs. Gave me nothing but empathy for people that work like that. Those people were not disrespecting us by forgetting her fucking margarita. They were busy as fuck.
And that's like a whole separate process to make it.
Yep, they have to stop whatever they're doing and make a drink. And it just wasn't on their fucking minds. And it wasn't out of disrespect for us or our money or any of that shit. It was just they were busy. And I very politely pulled people aside, and eventually she got her fucking drink. And that's that. And it was good.
They didn't card me though, which was a little surprising, but
I'm too busy.
yeah.
Too busy to card. If you're underage and you want to like know what it feels like to fucking order liquor at a restaurant, now maybe your best bet.
Yeah.
Find one of these restaurants that's got a big now hiring sign out front and shit. Go in there at a busy time and just order whatever you want.
Yeah.
There's a good ass chance they're just gonna bring it to you.
There was a news story recently that like someone got fired for not serving alcohol to teenagers because they wanted to like make up the money they lost during the pandemic.
They were what now? They got fired because of what?
Because they wouldn't serve alcohol to teenagers.
They got fired because they wouldn't?
Yeah.
Sir, oh, their boss was mad at them?
Yeah.
Because they were turning money away?
Yeah.
Oh my God. What a nightmare. Yeah, that sounds like a lawsuit for sure.
It's like you lose your liquor license kind of shit.
Yeah. I mean, that place, they didn't have time, dude. It was 100% what it was. They were just like, they looked at me, they looked at you, they were like, this dude probably isn't bringing a minor in here to get her drunk, so let's just go with it.
I mean, I look older too. I don't look like I'm a fresh-faced 21-year-old.
I mean, you don't look like you're a teenager, but you don't look like you're much older than you are.
Yeah.
You look cardable. Let's just put it that way. If I was working at a bar, I would card you.
I did most of the time. Like when I was in Indiana, I got like carded like maybe every other time or 1 out of 3 times.
See, that is so fucking crazy to me because part of my 20s was getting carded.
Yeah.
Like, when I stopped getting carded, that's when I knew I looked fucking real old. But the culture around it has changed now. It's like way more lax now. That shit in that, I don't care how busy that restaurant was. Back in the 90s, if I would have been sitting there with you, they would have carded you. 100%. The laws were so strict and people were looking out so hard for underage drinking.
Wasn't it a little bit newer too?
What?
Was that like around the time that they did the big push for carding, or was it already going on?
Oh, the 80s and the 90s were when they started putting up the signs like no tobacco sold here, we card, because like basically what's happening now was happening back then. People that looked plausibly 21 were going in and getting drunk. Just walking into bars and sitting down and acting like it's part of it is social engineering.
Yeah.
If you just order,
If you know exactly what you want,
Yep.
you're not like wishy-washy about it. There's probably certain drink orders that they think are more suspicious than others.
you don't look nervous about it.
Yeah.
You look like you belong there. You look like this is not like I used to do it when I was in my 20s and shit to see if I couldn't get carded. Just walk up to a bar, sit down, and really just fucking just get the guy's attention, order something real quick. Like but back then, dude, I'm telling you, man, you got carded. People were getting fired left, right, up, down, center. There were police stings, like real active police stings constantly on businesses where like either the cops or the cops would hire some fucking company to send somebody in there. And it wasn't even necessarily an underage person. It was just like, let's see if they card.
Yeah.
And if they didn't, fucking citation.
Yeah. I mean, you always get carded at gas stations. So gas stations are the ones that are really fucking hardcore.
Well, that's because they're the most likely to get stung.
Yeah. Because, like, a lot of gas stations have cops that come, like, once a day.
Yep. Well, gas stations are open 24 hours. They're the easiest places for a youngster to go and be secretive and try and get some liquor or some cigarettes or some shit. And so a shady gas station is, you know, they're going to pop gas stations way more than they pop other places.
I mean, now, like, once you're recognized, like, the place where I get our cigarettes, like, they've seen me enough fucking times that they know.
Yeah. And a lot of places would get around it too by like having a nobody under 18 allowed sign on the doors, where like if you looked underage, they just turn you around. I don't know, it's just very different now. I think the culture has just changed a little bit. I think people have become Land, you fucking big fat fuck. Where's he at?
On the sticker.
He's on the sticker. Gotcha. Big motherfucker. Gotcha. Another one bites the dust. Oh yeah. Cops would do these stings too, and like what do they call it? Like so teenagers back when I was a kid, I never tried this because people were, by the time I was a kid, people were not dumb enough to fall for it. Where's that other one at? Thought I saw one just land over here.
Going off.
All right, fuck him then. Another one though.
You're saying like people would try certain things to get in underage.
They would like ask adults that looked like they were stonery or whatever. I used to get hit up in my 20s. Hey dude, could you buy us like a 6-pack of beer? Could you get us a 5th of vodka? It's like, fuck no, I can't. Because cops will just send young looking people out to do that shit.
Yeah, they'll sting you like for purchasing for someone else.
Yep. He's there. Got him. Little sting, but that's okay. It's worth it. Tactical shot, yeah. Oh, wait, he's just stunned. I gotta finish him off. Now he's dead. Now he's gone. We had a shady place back when I was a teenager where if we went late at night and certain people were working, we could get liquor, but most of the time we got it through taking it from our parents.
Especially if your parents have a lot of alcohol, they're not going to notice a couple inches are gone.
Dude, we worked, like most of what we got drunk on as teenagers was wine because we worked, a lot of our parents worked for either the bottling company or the winery, which is attached. So they just had huge fucking bottles of Carlo Rossi everywhere. Oh, I missed it. I can't really aim. I'm he's dead. Had to switch up my fucking sides there.
Did you like fill the bottles back up, or did you just, there were so many that they wouldn't miss one?
If we wanted to get like liquor or whatever, like that, it just wasn't a problem. Like we preferred not to do that way because like your night was over pretty quick if you just pound a bottle of liquor with your friends. Having a jug of wine, passing that around, popping another one, you get good and fucked up, but it takes longer. Be right back. I'm gonna get something to drink. Ugh. Had that song stuck in my head for a couple of days.
Oh, yeah?
Lambo Life.
Did you have to listen to it again?
Fucking de-Antwoord, yeah.
It's definitely one of their most, like, braggy songs.
Yeah. It's braggadocious for sure. I think that's why I like it. It's very Beauregard. You like Prince's music? Yep. Like even people that don't like Prince's music typically like Prince's music, I find. Like there's something, he was such a diverse artist that I find that he resonates with most people who like music in some way, even if they don't, not huge fans of Prince overall. He just had a groove, dude. Just had a groove. Prince had one of the last great Super Bowl halftime performances as well. In the, I think early 2000s, I want to say 2001, 2002. Prince was the halftime, it might have been later than that. It might have been more like 2005, 6. But yeah, Prince had a really good halftime performance. It was awesome.
It was 2007.
Yeah.
Not super long ago.
Dude, it was bomb. It was one of the last great. I can't remember one after it that blew me away. There was one after it that was more controversial, I think. Or what was that after it or was it before? The one with Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson where he pulled her pasty off and revealed her nipple to the world.
That's 2004.
So that one was memorable, but for different reasons. Like the performance wasn't great, dude. This last halftime show with The Weeknd. Say what you want about his music, that was the most fucking woe-begotten, shitty halftime show I've ever seen. It was just ass, bro.
The entire Super Bowl was kind of ass. Like,
Yeah.
used to do like the Super Bowl ads, but they all sucked too much that it was just going to be boring.
Yeah, we didn't even do the Super Bowl ads this year. I didn't spray you, did I? Good. I think it's pretty focused.
There were people at the last Super Bowl.
Yep. They were spread out though. It wasn't full. But yeah, that Weekend show was just like they tried to make some like visual kind of like accompaniment to it, but it just was distracting and odd, and the performance really wasn't all that impressive. Like, I don't know if he's just not a great live performer. Like, he might be just more of a studio artist or whatever. I don't know much about him. I'm not a huge fan of his music, but I'm not even really down on his music. Like, I'm not. It was the performance. It was weird and kind of like, I don't know, try hard, I guess. I got to see the greatest Super Bowl halftime performance ever. So, not live. I've never been to a Super Bowl, but I got to see it as a kid.
Who would even want to go to a Super Bowl with how much the tickets are?
I mean, if somebody gave them to me, I'd go.
Yeah.
It'd be an experience. That's for sure.
But you ain't paying for that shit.
Dude, okay. Maybe if the Raiders went and I had a bunch of money saved up.
Yeah.
Just for the experience to see the Raiders fucking lose the Super Bowl. But no, I don't really see myself ever going to a Super Bowl. But Michael Jackson's Super Bowl performance, Super Bowl halftime performance, was probably like, what, 89 or something. It was during the Bad tour. I remember that. It was just fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable. Contrasted so sharply with the Weeknd's performance.
Who would you say was the best national anthem singer that you saw?
I mean, Whitney Houston did it one year.
Yeah.
Hard to beat Whitney. I mean, her pipes, especially before she, turned into a complete unrepentant crackhead. She was like, she had the voice of an angel, dude. I can't remember anybody. Was it in 90? Oh, was it in 93? Michael Jackson's performance? I think he performed twice. I may be wrong, though. I think he may be one of the only artists that ever did 2 Super Bowl halftime shows, but I may be wrong. I want to say that he did one in the late 80s and then might have done another one in the 90s, but I may be wrong. Amelia's on the case. She's Googling.
So he did do 93. Let's see if there's 1989.
I'm guessing not.
No, I'm not. It was Bob Costas. 1989.
There you go. The flaws of memory. I think it was 89 when I got to see Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
At the LA Superdome or whatever it was. LA Coliseum. I'm so glad that I have at least a couple of clear memories of that. Because that's just fucking amazing. Get out of my drink, you fuck. Or at least get on the edge of it. Okay, there you go.
Going all the way in?
Fucker, get out. Now you're dead.
He's stunned.
He's stunned?
Yep.
Where's he at?
Nope, he flew off.
Motherfucker! Now I've got salt in my drink. Salty fucking water. That's not that salty. Fucking stunned him and he got away. Alright. Well, hopefully you learned your lesson. You're on borrowed time. You come back over here, you're too stupid to live. I wish I had better memories of my Michael Jackson concert. But I remember him singing Human Nature, which is my favorite Michael Jackson song. I remember the crowd, like the sounds of the crowd. We kind of had nosebleed seats. We didn't have great seats. We were up in the, whatever, the nosebleeds. But he had 2 giant Trinitrons. I remember being able to see his face. And we got good shots of him, what he was doing on stage. And be able to like look at the Trinitrons and then look at the stage and see him down there twirling. And It was really cool. It was really neat.
When he died, I was on like this really long flight from New York to Washington State. So I just saw like the newsreel over and over and over again.
About Michael Jackson dying,
They
yeah.
kept showing him dangling his kid over the balcony over and over again.
That's so weird.
It's like he just died.
This country has such a conflicted relationship with Michael Jackson, but it just goes to show that, like, you are far better off separating art from artist than trying to fucking muck through the morality of an artist. You don't have to fucking validate their morality. You don't have to validate the things that they've been accused of to appreciate the art that they made. And if you think that you do, you live a pretty fucking sad and artless life. I can't imagine going through history and looking at every artist and deciding which ones are problematic and then not looking at their paintings. You know, Leonardo was a known womanizer or whatever, so I'm not going to appreciate any of his work. I was going to go to the Sistine Chapel and check out, the fucking ceiling that Michelangelo painted, but, I heard some things about Michelangelo. So I really don't want to implicitly support.
There was an Elvis canceling thing going on a while ago.
Oh, of course.
Super young girlfriend or whatever.
His wife.
Oh, yeah, his wife, yeah.
Yeah, Lisa Marie. Or no, that's his daughter. Who is his? No, Lisa Marie is his wife. Whatever, it doesn't matter. His wife, he married a 16-year-old, basically. My dad did the same thing. It was just way more common back in the day and legal. And a lot of fucking people saw it as a way for their teenage daughters to get the fuck out of the shitty little town that they were in.
Well, like her parents, were like, you have to marry her if you're gonna date her.
Yeah.
To secure her future.
Right. So it's just like, whatever. You want to cancel fucking Elvis for that? Go ahead. It's just not gonna work. The whole cancellation thing, and this is the sad fucking truth of it, the whole Me Too movement has been undermined by its own success. Because what constitutes a quote unquote Me Tooable moment has been stretched to the absolute fucking limits. And women who were raped, physically assaulted, have had their stories just thrown into the morass with women who 20 years later remember an off-color comment, or 20 years later remember, you know what I mean? It's just like...
Although it did get Keith Raniere arrested.
Yeah, I mean, it was hot long enough to get Keith Raniere arrested and kind of break up Nixium, but we got Weinstein.
Yeah.
Didn't get Cosby.
No.
Cosby got exonerated. It was a victim of its own success. Like, it was something that was sorely needed for women to stop the kind of pattern of silence, but there was never a clear definition of what constituted a Me Tooable, cancelable moment. You know what I mean? And it drifted into the fucking territory where, the most recent example of it being misused is Anna Kasparian's bullshit against fucking Jimmy Dore. So she's all fucking happy, friendly with Jimmy Dore. They're all buddies and shit until Jimmy Dore starts calling her out. And then all of a sudden she sends a blackmail email, blows up this whole fucking story that's just a big nothing burger. Actually made fucking the Young Turks look worse than Jimmy Dore, if you can believe that. And if that's where the fucking movement is at now, then you may as well just call it done.
Although, yeah, I don't see people using Me Too as much anymore. They just say it, but they don't do the hashtag Me Too thing anymore.
Yeah. And it sucks, but it's just the truth. There are people who have real stories, who were really physically, emotionally, sexually, or otherwise abused by powerful people or people that are in fucking position. And their stories are undermined by tons and tons of people who want to weaponize this as a way to destroy somebody that they don't like.
Well, like Neil deGrasse Tyson was like canceled for like touching this chick's like planet tattoo or something. Like he touched her arm.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Thunderfoot got that Me Too, remember? In the elevator.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Thunderfoot got Me Too'd because he asked somebody up to his room for a drink or something, wasn't that it?
Something like that. It's like it's a big conference and wanted to flirt.
That's what people, like, I've been to these. That's what people do. They fuck. It's one of the reasons that people like going to them. Hint, it's not the keynote speech. Tupac got 2 years for forcibly touching the buttocks. 2 years? Huh?
I feel like there's a little more to that story.
Yeah. Dude, you don't get 2 years for just grabbing some ass.
Oh yeah, and the Tara Reid thing was like the complete subversion of it.
Oh, yeah. Tara Reid comes out with a fucking story about Joe Biden that's totally fucking plausible given how creepy and fucking weird the dude is. I'm not even having to aim anymore now. I'm starting to get fucking freeform on this shit. It's just, it's a shame because, like, once again, I think it was a necessary thing. But now it's just been undermined and subverted by people with agendas.
And people were so cruel to her too. Like I think they were calling her fat and shit.
Oh yeah, like anybody would fucking want to rape her. You know what I mean? It's just like, who are these people?
Still a ton of defense for Cuomo.
Yeah. Andrew Cuomo is just basically dead to rights now. Mm-hmm. Dead to rights.
Even Biden asked him to step down.
Yep.
But he's still gonna have supporters.
Yep.
His defense was, I touch everyone. Makes it better.
Jesus. I touch everyone. Good for you, buddy. Good for you, buddy. Yeah, Amber Heard gets to keep working in Hollywood because she Me Too'd Johnny Depp, but then in the fucking actual trial, we find out that she was a toxic, insane person. Like, I'm not saying Johnny Depp didn't play his role, but it just sounds like a mutually toxic relationship. And it's like, how did Johnny Depp get fucking fired for most of his work, but she didn't? Mm-hmm. Like, you tell me how you think that Johnny Depp was more toxic than Amber Heard, given what we've learned. Because we've covered the fucking shit. Dude, it sounds like it was just an awful fucking relationship, and they were both awful to one another. Like,
Amber Turd.
She took a fucking crap in his bed.
You don't just like magically escalate to that. Out of nowhere.
But he's the guy. He's the man, so he's held to a different fucking standard. And that's just true when it comes to this type of shit. To give you an example of this shit, right? I am the victim of domestic violence. My first long-term relationship was intermittently physically abusive to me. I was open hand slapped in the face a number of times. I would be backed into corners very aggressively, knowing that I couldn't retaliate. So I went through textbook domestic violence. Never reported it to the police. People saw it happen and didn't have a problem with it because there's a double standard, right? We all know this. This is not just me being an MRA or whatever. Don't call me that shit. I'm a human rights advocate. And to ignore the experience of men in situations like that,
And there's like almost no men's domestic abuse shelters.
there would have been very little recourse for me if I had wanted.
Yeah, she could have just punched herself in the face and been like,
She could have just claimed that I escalated it and that she was defending herself, and my ass would have went to jail based on just a lie. The truth of the matter was, I was getting hit. I was getting physically threatened, backed into corners, yelled in right in my face, because she knew that I couldn't physically. If a dude did that to me and I told him, get the fuck out of my face, get the fuck out of my face, get the fuck out of my face, he gets about 3 of those and then I'm going to give him one. Can't do that to a girl, right? So my ass was in a multi-year relationship where intermittently that was part of my relationship. I'd get in a verbal altercation with my partner that would escalate into physicality on her part. So the Me Too movement has a blind spot for that type of shit, I think. I think everybody does. Even now, when people are at least a little more aware that it does happen, it's still like a shameful thing for a dude to say, like, I was abused. And it's just like, not to me.
so many people think men can't be raped, men can't be groomed, like all these female teachers getting off scot-free.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and that whole like, and it makes sense. Like nobody should hit anybody, but you should consider the power imbalance at all times if you do have to get physical with somebody. I understand that as a base concept, but it is absolutely drilled into men that you don't even defend yourself against physical violence. You don't. You just don't. If a woman is coming at you, slapping, throwing things at you, you cover up. You protect yourself bodily, but you don't ever take any kind of physical action to remove her out of, you don't push, you don't shove, you don't punch, you don't hit. And it's just like, that leads to these situations. Because think about that. Psychologically, on both ends, children are learning something about the world, right? Little boys are learning that little girls can get violent, but little boys can't. And what do you think little girls are learning? Oh, I'm allowed to get violent, but he isn't.
Oh yeah, like I knew this girl that would like kick this dude in the balls like once a week at the bus stop and he wouldn't do nothing about it.
Yep. And so that's how you end up with situations like what I was in. And to me, at the time when I was in it, it felt perfectly normal. I thought pretty much every dude probably goes through this because it was just like with my sisters. When it came to that, intermittent violence that I just had to cover up and try and de-escalate because I had no way to fucking escape it.
Except the burger.
Well, there were a couple of times where things got, you know. I lashed out twice as a child against the same sister. She was the most egregious perpetrator. And one time she walked up to me and kneed me right in the balls. And it hurt. And I punched her as hard as I could in the fucking breadbasket, dude. I just went. She fell down, started crying. I fell over, grasping my nuts. And later on, when the story got told, I got grounded for punching her. Second time, I was a teenager, and so was she. And her mouth was just fucking too much, dude. It was a confluence of events, bro. What can I say? I don't excuse it necessarily, but it had to happen. So I guess I do excuse it. It's the burger that had to be eaten the hard way. That's all there is to it, dude. I believe that certain days have a thread of fate to them. I don't believe in fate or destiny, but I do believe that certain days happen a certain way. And I'm telling you, man, that day was built top to bottom for her to eat that burger the wrong way. Top to bottom.
Is that when you had mono too?
Yes. Yes. I worked all day at a Blockbuster with mononucleosis. I was fucking bedraggled, sick, hungry, tired. That was it. In that order. So on my way home, I got a Jack in the Box fucking Jumbo Jack meal. And my whole idea was to go home, sit down at my computer, eat that, surf the internet, as we used to say. And then fucking... And when I came home to my sister and two of her friends drunk and passed out in my room. And my room was fucking destroyed, bro. Beer cans, overturned bottles of spoons and shit, and they'd shit it up my room. I didn't immediately attack. I just woke up my sister. I said, hey. When she woke up, I said, I want you to get all these drunk bitches out of my room. Take them up to your room. I'm sick and I'm tired. And I just kind of like left as she was protesting and went out in front where it was nice and cool. And I sat down on the lawn to have my meal. And she came out and she was spitting insane booty chatter at me. And she hit me. She told me something like, call my friends drunk bitches again. And I was like, your friends are drunk bitches. And she went, not super hard or whatever, but she slapped me. And that was it, dude. I had the hamburger. It was like the plan developed in my hand. I was holding the hamburger. And I was just like, all right. Charge this one to the game. I fucking let go of the hamburger and hefted it like this. Reared my hand back. The bun fell off. And I just fucking smashed the hamburger into her face. She went inside and cleaned my room. Whatever. Yeah, I'm watching the texts. We still haven't heard from Root Canal TJ, so we're hanging in there. The tragic part is losing the hamburger. Yeah, I mean, but I still have the fries. You know, it wasn't a complete wash. I had the fries. Yeah, TJ's having a root canal today. Terrible, terrible shit.
Terrible day.
Terrible day. So TJ during Flash Fried today, presuming his pain isn't too bad to do it, which is a possibility, but assuming he can do it, he might be like this. Hey everybody, welcome to Flash Fried. My name is TJ Kirk. Let's take a look at what's happened in the news. Hey, fuck you, Scotty. Fuck you, Scotty. No, fuck you. Anyway, this bitch didn't win. Whatever. It's gonna be everybody's favorite Flash Fried ever, dude. Numb mouth TJ is gonna be a fucking vibe. You watch. You watch. Numb mouth TJ will be a vibe today. Yeah, he might be He might be off the fucking painkillers too. That's true. Yeah, he'll try and sip a beverage, but it'll just all dribble down the front of him. That's right, Scotty. Hold on. One time. Shit.
Yeah, I think that beats my worst dentist story of getting my wisdom teeth taken out like 2 days before Thanksgiving.
Man, no, it doesn't. That is fucking... Man, they couldn't have waited. They couldn't have given you one last Thanksgiving.
My mom needed time off. She had to drive me back. Couldn't drive. Didn't have my license yet. Not that you're supposed to drive home after
Man,
anyways.
you had a fucking Thanksgiving that you couldn't eat.
I had like stuffing, I think, and cranberry sauce. And some green beans, maybe.
Damn. That is fucking harsh.
They gave me a metric fuck ton of oxycodone, too, which was not necessary. Did not need a month of oxycodone for a week of pain.
Well, I know what I back in the day would have I would have handled that extra oxycodone for you.
I flushed it.
Good idea. Dude, I think the only thing I can compare to that, like having a Thanksgiving that you can't really eat, the injustice of it. My sophomore high school summer, I was grounded for weed. And that summer, a couple of people, including this chick who I was fucking in love with. I wish I could just say her name. I guess it's fucking probably like common enough. She had a very common name. Let's just say her name was Jenny Wong. There you go. I was in love with her. Half Japanese, half Caucasian girl. I was just absolutely... I'd met her at fucking that summer school for the arts program. I was absolutely fucking head over heels in love with her. She was coming to my shitty little town to visit me. And my parents wouldn't let me out of fucking jail for one day. Because I smoked weed. The injustice. The shame.
A double standard, too.
Yep. Because my little sisters fucking got caught actually smoking weed in the house. I went out and smoked weed. and admitted to it and got busted. They got caught literally smoking weed and didn't get shit. Got a warning. They got off with a next time you're going to get it. Wong isn't a Japanese name. I know. She just had a very common name. I wang the Wong number. That was that's an old school fucking prank call. Is Wang there? No.
Please, let me time this person.
Oh, your chat sucks.
Let me reload it.
Is Wang there? No. Is Wong there? No. Then I must have wanged the Wong number. Oh, Jesus Christ, bro.
I got it, Joey.
Why did people stop doing prank calls? Because they don't really work anymore. You can screen your phone calls too easily now. Like, think about it. Like, back in the golden age of prank calls, you didn't have no call. You didn't know who was calling you. So it's like you had an impetus to pick up every goddamn phone call because it might be your uncle, it might be your mom, it might be your wife, it might be your kid, you know. So you could get somebody on the hook for a few seconds. Nowadays, people screen. Even people that still have landlines have call screening on them, and it's like...
Yeah, people get so many robocalls and shit that you don't trust a phone number that...
Yep. Corporations found a way to steal prank calls and make them lame and joyless, basically, is what happened. Get up, baby. Think you're safe over there? He was. He flew away. This guy's like the fucking Red Baron, man. He's the ace of today. The ace of spades. I think that's the one I stunned earlier. Mm-hmm. He's back for more. Yeah. Just got a text from TJ saying they're just finishing up his procedure. All right, look out, baby. Got that one. Got that one. Would you still be alive without modern medicine? No. I probably would have died from the massive internal infection and ruptured abscess that I had from my pilonidal cyst.
Or your gallbladder, that too.
And then if that hadn't have taken me out, then the gallbladder would have.
I don't think I'd be in the same position quite yet, unless you count like the medicine I take for my brain.
I mean, that's certainly helped you live a quality of life you probably wouldn't have been able to have without modern medicine. But yeah, I don't think you've had to have a life-saving procedure yet. Hopefully you don't ever.
Yeah. Both my sisters were born by a cesarean, so that wouldn't have worked out.
No. There was really no way. Well, I mean, it was just a very dangerous procedure for a long time, and then before that, it didn't exist at all.
Yeah. Hey, we got that episode coming up where you cover the first successful cesarean.
Yep. That's true. Sorry. I got stoner stuck for a second. Just goes to show you social manipulation. It just accidentally happened with Amelia. I was just sitting here and I like looked up at something and she was like, nonverbal communication. Yeah, get a profile pic though.
I mean, I'm not gonna just look at Arabic and like put it through Google Translate to see if it's a troll or not.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what you typed. You don't have a profile picture, which gets you banned immediately here. So go get one of those.
I'll say you were only timed out, so you didn't need to go on an alt for a timeout.
Yeah. And then typing in Arabic, well, you know, it's your purview, I guess. Realize that I can't fucking read it. And at a certain point, you're going to get banned for using it. Anyway. Another day in paradise.
It's starting to get too gross out here for you.
It's getting there. 'Tis getting there. All right, I'm out of here. See you later. Bye.